Hello and welcome back to Void Dreaming. We'll be continuing where we left off, which if you recall is after having Rail basically be forced to speak to the whole crew and tell him his whole life story. And of course, we bottled him up with, the really nice stuff, that he is a spacer and he was apparently a genius, who gets scouted by the IGA. Well, not scouted. His parents send a letter to the IGA, and then the IGA is like, oh, this guy's kind of smart. Well, actually, not even this guy. This child is kind of smart. We want him. So they take him. Turns out he kind of flunks out because he can't sit still. He has like ADHD. And yeah. But, his ADHD proved to be useful, and he created some really cool software, which a lot of people use, but then he ended up creating some software that was going to be used for navigation, and it ended up causing an explosion of a ship. But apparently it wasn't actually his fault, because Tolmany said that I saw the code and it's really flawless and beautiful, and I find no reason to put fault on him. And yeah. And everyone said, okay, fine. And even Kalia said, well, I appreciate your honesty because you told everyone everything. So yeah. So now we're about to spend time with my chosen character. And unfortunately, it couldn't be the captain. So it's going to have to be Bromm'ka. Because, the captain and Bromm'ka are the only ones that actually stand out to me. Or that at least are more appealing to me, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, let's finish out the first day of Void Dreaming. And then you're left alone in the commissary. If what they said was true, then all you need to do is wait here in the commissary and Bromm will arrive. You take a moment to head over to where the bear was standing during your introduction. The cooker and replicator station is even more impressive up close. The replicator is pretty standard, if upmarket, installation. Nothing of note beyond the quality and efficiency of the unit. The cooker is considerably more interesting, if only for its novelty. Before you take in too many more details than the basics, you hear the hiss of the door receding into the floor. You glance back in its direction to see Bromm'ka pop his head into the room. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought everyone left and... It's fine, don't worry. I was waiting for you. The bear blinks, then smiles as he steps more fully into the commissary. The door slides closed behind him. Waiting? For me? His tone becomes more playful and light, and you chuckle quietly to yourself. If only you felt quite so light yourself. Yeah, about that whole introduction thing and what I... Rail, please. There is nothing more that needs to be said. I could see how it affected you. I know you shared your truth with us, free of deception. Such pain cannot be pretended. You don't even want to ask how he knows that. Doctors do tend to see the worst of life, after all. I just feel like I owe... I don't know, an apology? For truth? Think no more of this, Rail, please. Nothing is owed. I hope that you didn't come here just to apologize to me. You can't help but chuckle to yourself at the sight of the bear's broad smile. It's instantly disalarming, and precisely what you needed. No, not that. I just wanted to get to know you a bit better, Learn what makes the elusive Bromm'ka tick. There was an odd little hitch when you use his full name, but his smile doesn't flag in the least. Well, you definitely came to the right place. I'll have you know that I am the finest expert in the galaxy in all things me. None can even compare. His expression sours somewhat. Though I did once date someone who thought that he knew me better. Sounds like a story there. No story, trust me. And certainly not one for new friends, no. He hurries on over to the cooker to stand beside you. I see you're found my obsession. Kalia did imply that you had a bit of a fondness for it. The bear affectionately pats the top of the cooker, unit like one might a cherished pet. Food is life, Rael. From the lowest gutterpunk to the highest of the highborn. Well, you don't need to eat to live these days, Nutrition solutions work just as well. Bromm'ka looks aghast at the suggestion. I don't even want to know you at this point. His laugh a moment later undermines his assertion, and you grin back. All of us, every sapient in the galaxy that we know about, arose from the same pre-sublimation Terra seed worlds. Every one of us is bound to Terran genetic material. And every one of those ancient ancestors of the Terra had to eat. Just because they've moved beyond the need for food in the old ways doesn't mean that we need to sacrifice its enjoyment. He pats his belly, and your eyes dip down to his rounder frame. Bears are all pretty big, but Bromm'ka is definitely a little heftier than the average. I see you enjoy it a lot. Oh, is that disapproval that I hear in your voice then? Never said that for a second. Wouldn't dare either. You flash him a quick grin and the bear relaxes his stance somewhat. Never know when I might wind up being your next meal if I do. Oh, you'd have got nothing to worry about. I don't eat anything that was ever alive. He pauses for a moment and then briefly scowls. Usually, mostly. I was gonna say, isn't most replicator biomass sourced from flora and fauna? True, and it's next to impossible to lock down exactly what flora and fauna have been used. It's all the same in the recombiner matrix. A few protein markers here and a shift of a few electrons there. The application of a truly tremendous amount of energy. That too. He laughs as he spreads his arms out wide. But in the end, a meal. Not just something to eat, and not just something to sustain your body. Not just a biomechanical process. Food. And so what, if I can ask, led your enthusiasm for the subject? The bear gets a faraway look in his eyes as he leans back against the wall and sighs. That's actually a really long story. The long version has too much for me to get into. I can give you the short version though, if you're so inclined. I mean, I did ask. I am fairly inclined. He chuckles and nods as he turns your way again. How much do you know about bear culture? Not much. I'm afraid most of my studies that involved the Ascended came from what we know of the Terran seedings. That's a shame. There is a lot of rich culture and history to the people of the galaxy that has little to do with the Terran seedings. He claps those massive paws and rubs them together as he smiles. So I admit that I don't know how it is for wolves, but at least for bears like me, we held on to a lot of our pre-ascension cultures. Wolves pretty gladly adopted the Ascension as fully as we could. There was a few holdouts on Vilchara, who would never leave the birth world. Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed it. Well, at least among a lot of bears, the old castes and titles are still a big deal. So are the languages. Given how smart Bromm'ka has had to be to become a doctor, you're not surprised that he speaks other tongues too. And how many bear languages do you know? He laughs at that. Only a couple, and only one with any fluency. There's about 700 variants of the old tongues on Heveris still spoken today. You don't know how many surviving Lupine languages are still spoken on Vilchera, but you know for sure that it's not that many. That's still at least one fluent language more than me. Well, that's just a matter of time and effort. It's not as big a deal as it could be, given the prevalence of Galstan and its influence pre-ascension. One day I've got to look into how the Terrans program language into us. When you do, look into why it didn't seem to work as well on bears. He laughs again as he reaches down to bring up a console on the cooker. His big paws tap with surprising speed and delicacy at the screen. Anyway, back to food. I got to grow up on Helvis, surrounded by the pre-ascension cultures. Trust me, it almost stunned me when I took my first steps onto a starship. I was in absolute shock. But it turned out the captain of the ship was a big bear by the name of Trumwes. What kind of ship? Passenger shuttle? Ambassador? Transport craft? Bromm'ka shakes his head and smiles all the wider as he looks up from the console. Personal use. A rare thing among Hevra bears. And for him? Oh, even rarer. The Wests are keepers of the clan histories. They tell those stories to new cubs to keep the firelight of the ancestors lit in our hearts and minds. You're not alone. There is not a lot of call for the old spiritual beliefs that existed pre-ascension, but more than a few people in the galaxy still practice them. You don't judge either way. So he was a Wes? It's gotta beg the question then. What's a Ka? I'm sorry to say that I don't know. The bear chuckles as he shrugs. Much less interesting, I promise. The idea of a Wes flying away from Heveris would be laughable if it wasn't such a massive violation of clan law. He shouldn't have gotten away with it. But he did? Bromm'ka grins. Oh, he did. I didn't ask how, of course. If I was asking questions like that, he'd have been put on the spot, distressed or put out, or just generally uncomfortable. I didn't want to do that to him. Starship captain or not, abdicated responsibility or not, he was a Wes and comported himself as such. I showed all honor and deference. He sure sounds like an exceptional bear indeed, to so thoroughly have Bromm'ka's adoration too, if the tone of his voice is any indication. And he was the one who first took you off-world? Pretty much. He was my ticket to the stars, to the Institute of Galactic Advancement, as it so happened. I almost forgotten that I was standing with someone who had actually managed to not only earn admittance, but pass his coursework, unlike some wolves. Bromm'ka smiles and reaches up with his free paw to pat your shoulder. The other paw continues to work away at the console. Don't be like that, Rail. That you were there at all proves how exceptional you are. I'm certain that there are reservoirs of untapped potential just waiting to burst out of you. His confidence in you is gratifying, but you suspect that it's been a long time before you'll believe it, especially given the more recent arc of your life. Anyway, it's a bit more of a hyperflight to anywhere with Helvers. I had about a week back then to settle in aboard the ship. For your first time off-world, that must have been a lot. It was awful, actually. It was the first time that I had been away from my family, my clan, from the wind and the sky and the sun. If it helps, the first time that I had to spend any real-time dirt side, it was much the same for me. The bear pauses in tapping at the console to give you his full attention. It was? Well, yeah. You're going from an environment that you're comfortable with to something completely different. The smallest things that you take for granted are different, changed. All the rules go out the window, and you can feel trapped. That's pretty much exactly how it felt for me and the ship. It's how I felt my first few days dirt side too, so I get it. The bear smiles more warmly. Well, I appreciate the empathy. I did get used to it eventually, by the end of the trip, but by then it was entirely because of Trumwas. He pauses for a moment before his smile broadens. Well, I say that. It was half because Trumwas, and partly because of me. And it was all because his ship had a replicator and a cooker unit. The bear steps away from the console and waves you towards him. You step beside Bromm'ka and look down. The console is displaying programmed recipes. There are a lot of them. You did all of this? He beams with pride. Most. Kalia added a couple. So did the captain, and even Miz contributed one, but mine are the most complicated and intricate of the recipes in here. When I was on the ship, I was restless, aggressive even, with the other passengers. I couldn't get my bearings. I was lost, hurting. His tone shifts so suddenly, it almost gives you whiplash. He's suddenly much more quiet, more serious, almost brooding. And Trumwas, just like a Wes, came to help me. He listened and he spoke wisdom, resparked the firelight in the dark, and cold of space, breathed life into me. And he did it here, with this. Once more, Bromm'ka pats the top of the cooker unit. His reverence for a piece of machinery now makes a whole lot more sense. He must have made quite the impact. He became something of a rikshek to me. How to translate it? A hero, an icon, an inspiration. I would have liked very much to follow in his footsteps. As a Wes? The bear pauses before he responds with a shake of his head. Not really, but a guide, a helper. A healer? You smile as Bromm'ka smirks back at you. In a way, I suppose. Perhaps my vocational choice was ordained after all. But we wander again from the point, don't we? Tell me, Rail, what do you see here? He waves again towards the console and steps back to give you more room. You lean down and again begin to scan through what he's pulled up. It's an impressive array of dishes, all with preparatory instructions for manual cooking and very specifically programmed instructions for automated systems. It seems like even an idiot could prepare the meals that Bromm'ka's programmed into this. I see dedication. He laughs and you look up at him in surprise. You'd intended to be complimentary, not comedic. Oh, you're too kind. And no, Nothing so abstract as that. Please. I mean literally. What do you see? You glance back down for a moment and look more at just facts, figures. Food. And what sort of food did you eat when you were young? You actually have to cast your mind back at that. It's been a while. We didn't really have any specific dishes. I'm sure that's not true. No, really. I'm being honest. When you live in the black shipside all the time, you don't expect to have a cooker available whenever you'd like. The focus was efficiency, both biomass and energy. Replicator meals were almost everything that we did. The bear nods slowly. Almost, though? Something stands out? Well, we did have treats. A station, Camber Orbital, that we'd visit from time to time. When we were there, Mom and Dad would take me to an eatery there. Bromm'ka's grinning now, and despite yourself, so are you. With Dobkran steaks, flank cut. I never figured out what they were seasoned with, but I never tasted anything like it anywhere else. You know, we could probably work together to figure it out if you like. It's tempting, now that I think about it. Cooker use was never your strength, and it certainly seemed to be Bromm'ka's. But then, at that same time, that's all in the past. This is your present, and Bromm'ka and the Dreamer represent what your future could be. Maybe another time. How about we make something else? Something that I've never had before. The bear's eyes sparkle. He claps his paws together excitedly like a cub. Culinary experimentation? Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, I think that we can definitely do this. Oh, this will be fun. How was the big, experienced doctor more of an excited child than Miz, the little cheetah barely out of his teens? And how is it so adorable? All right, calm down, Brom. Nevathi Athala. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Come, closer. He shuffles in right against you, and you gasp as you feel the sudden warmth of the larger male right up against your side. He might be shorter for a bear, but he's big compared to you. It occurs to you that Kalia is taller still though. Funnily that the muscular vixen towers over the broad bear on some level. The warmth only intensifies as he wraps an arm around your middle and pulls you in against him. Now, the console. You see the options, yes? You nod, but you're focusing all the harder on his speech. It seems his native accent has deepened somewhat in his excitement, his words clipping and emphasizing syllables differently. Programming a cooker isn't like writing soft, nase? Same precision and same focus, but much more open-ended, more chill. Enanka me'en, more natural. Stars, he's even slipping in his native tongue. You may have given him a little too much encouragement, but you don't want to stop him now. It is like a dance, not mathematics, about how the meal must taste, yes, but also feel and smell and all the different elements that go into it. The more details that you can get right, the more the meal will verandanatha, the more it feeds the flame. The flame? He presses his other paw to your chest. Any old food can fill your belly, but a meal touches your heart, lights the fire in your soul, fulfills. Yes? I guess? I've just never seen anyone outside an Agritrade ambassador or Agritrade lifer so enthusiastic about food. And you're surprised I'm so fond of it? I mean, I did wonder if you're a chef from the way that you've been talking so far. He laughs and shrugs, pulling you closer to him. But the chef who taught me much after Trumwas taught me to not just cook, but the importance of reverence for the process. Those words I hold so dear. Food is life. You chuckle to yourself as Bromm'ka's grip relaxes about you. He does like that phrase, and far be it from you to argue. Food is life. Sen Nase. He learns, excellent. The great chef Penkri-Liot, what like you? We are ready to begin. He reaches down to wipe clear the display of the meals that had been programmed before and opens up a new recipe. This one is completely blank and is seeking input on basic components. Knowing that there is more ingredients than wolves in the galaxy sparks a moment of anxiety in your chest. Be calm. I feel you tense. This is to be fun, liberating, a learning and bonding and sharing a process, Nissa? His voice and his warmth are definitely soothing, to be sure. On some level, you don't mind if he'd let you lean into him while he worked the cooker. This will be your creation. I am only here to help guide your paw. The decisions must be yours if the meal is to light the fire. You nod, but bite your tongue. This could be a terrible idea. And yet, a good chance to get to know Bromm'ka, maybe even a good chance to get to know him more intimately. Sure, whatever. Yeah. So come, what would you like to use to feed your flame? I do like breakfast, although I actually don't eat breakfast all that much. I get tummy ache if I eat breakfast. So many crew are in the middle of the day, a big lunch, at the end of some people's day, a nice dinner. I actually don't eat a lot of dinner because by then I was like, ugh, I'm too tired to make dinner. A breakfast, maybe? Ah, yes, a fine choice. You have only recently risen, yes? You must be hungry. Breakfast would be wonderful. Not that there is ever a bad time for it, right? He grins. Ah, nase, sen, shahari. Right you are. Bromm'ka pulls away from you and rubs his paws together again as he brings up the cooker's console. The display flashes for your attention. On Hevris, breakfasts are Sing Nafel, the rousing meal. Hevris days and nights are longer than Galactic Standard, and the Sing Nafel is to brace us for the day to come. Those of us that leave Hevris and adopt the Galactic Standard day find it hard to portion ourselves down for shorter days. We keep the rousing meal close to us more than any other. He smiles as he nods towards you. And it is by far the easiest of the meals to prepare for. So many flavors, so many options. I mean, Oba served up synthetic meat, toast, and calf today before my shift. The word seemed to cause the bear physical harm. Rail, do not let that mechanical overlord push you around. He's right. I don't even have paws anymore. Oba will give you what she thinks that you might need, yes, but what is merely necessary does not light your flame. I don't know. That calf was pretty good. At that, Bromm'ka pauses and glances back at the replicator. When he turns back to you again, his face is grim. And it will remain forever a mystery to me how that is so. It should not be so good, and yet it is. The secret ingredient is drugs. Hush now, Oba. We are creating. You chuckle as the bear cracks his knuckles and begins to enter commands into the console. A breakfast must be filling. It must be flavorful. It must rouse you from sleep and prepare you to face what lies ahead, like the signifale of old. So tell me, hot? Cold? How will it be presented? I do like a hot breakfast. Something hot, to get the blood flowing. The arm around your middle squeezes you gently. The bear's warmth suffuses you. I couldn't agree more. Yes, the heat is necessary for a fine signal. Especially here, on a starship sailing through the cold of space. A reminder of the warmth of the sun greeting the new day. Yes, perfect. As his free paw taps at the controls, he continues to rub and squeeze around you with the other. It's as pleasant a feeling as ever, especially combined with his enthusiasm for what you're doing. You usually have a hot breakfast? Almost every day I'm on ship, and so much of the better. Zubari keeps the vessel far too cold for my liking. I enjoy the warmth far more. Maybe we should install some lounges on the observatory deck? Have him bring the dreamer in closer to a star and warm you up? He laughs at that. It is a pleasant sound, but you weren't entirely joking. Ah, but I have done this before. Whenever we stop to refuel at a star, I like to spend some time there to just bask in the radiance, give my thanks for the light. He pauses a little, but there is a new quirk to his smile that wasn't there before, like he's remembering something nice. Brom? His quirk vanishes as he grins down at you. Warmth is a gift. To seek it in food is to invite it inside of you. Then you may share with the galaxy. You're very poetic about food. I am very poetic about many things. Again, he chuckles before he turns back to the console again. So, a hot meal for the Signafel? Good. Synth meat is a good start. But the replicator and recombiner can go so much further with the right effort. I think, yes, links of Gorbashi as a base, thick, meaty, good, and with just the right amount of natural spice to them to excite the palate in the morning. Your muzzle might run over if he keeps talking like that. You swallow. That sounds really good, actually. And so it should be. If you've never had it, whatever that is, a replicator does it no justice, but it approximates as best as it can in the black, and so much the better. They were almost hunted to extinction. Your eyes go wide. I thought the Galactic Authority put down strict rules on beasts of burden for food. They had to be kept in natural environments on their birth world, ranched responsibly and ethically. But such ranching is difficult for that. They are wild and tempestuous beasts, prone to violence and sloth in equal measure. Delicious meat, but difficult to obtain pre-ascension. And post-ascension? He winces and shakes his head as he tugs you closer. Blasters make everything too easy, Nase. Suddenly we had good access to means of bringing them down. So many Heavy took the chance to down them when they could, and their numbers dwindled so low that we had almost wiped them all out. You're not along. A lot of Birthworld biospheres were damaged during the Ascension. But now? He smiles back down at you again. Now they are protected, and their information encoded in replicators. I've tasted natural Gorbashi only once, but the experience was sublime. Well, don't you go sublimating until we finish this breakfast. I still need you for this. You're right. The bear finally disengages from you, pulling the arm away from around your body to direct both paws to his console. You can see him furiously entering commands as fast as any soft servant you've ever known. It's no wonder that he went this far in the IGA. Once Bromm'ka gets going, it seems like there's nothing stopping him. All right there. Got it, locked in. We have the core of our breakfast. You blink. You've not heard of anyone programming a cooker that fast. Already? Wait, but... The Signafella must be swift, Rael. The day does not wait for us. We must seize it with both paws. Well, when you put it like that, he's not wrong. Then we better finish this. What's the rest of the meal going to be? But that is up to you. How shall we add to the heart of this breakfast? Anybody that knows me knows spicy. Maybe something spicy to go with it? Spicy? With breakfast? Oh, an intriguing choice. You did say that you like to have a hot breakfast. I did, and something spicy to go with the Gorbashi sausage. A fine idea. But what? But what indeed? He pauses in his commands to stroke at his chin for a moment before snapping his fingers with a grin. Aha! Tolnarak, a sweet root that's indigenous to Hofversi, birthworld of the Martins. They can't get enough of it. Sweet? Aren't we going for spicy? The bear's already tapping at the console again, his excitement plain in his motions and his wild smile. That we are. But mashed, Tolnarak provides a wonderful nutritious base. We butter it, sprinkle in some spices, and then we have the perfect mash to pair with the Gorbashi. Damn, that actually sounds really good. And Bromm'ka isn't even finished. Serve it all with a nice mug of kaf. He turns to face you with a wink. But we spike it with a dash of cinnamon. Your stomach grumbles in response. Stars. Just put it in my face already. I never knew that I needed this in my life so badly. Bromm'ka clutches his belly as he laughs louder than you've heard in yet. And that, my friend, is why I so love food. It can be so much more than just a means to survival and simple nourishment. It can nourish so much more than just your body. Food is life. Food is life. Jack N. Vu. He whirls about to the console as you look over his shoulder. The bear's an absolute machine when it comes to working the cooker. I'm surprised you're here, and not in some fancy Core World restaurant. But that's another long story, Nase. Perhaps one that I will tell you over another meal, another time. You nod and smile. I may hold you to that, and I think that when we do have that conversation, you ought to be the one doing the cooking. He chuckles again and claps you on the back. It's firm but gentle enough to not knock the wind out of you. No small feat with his frame and strength. It's a date. You perk an ear as he realizes what he just said and reaches up to scratch an ear. It doesn't stop you recognizing that reddish rising in the other, though. A date? Huh? Now look at me. You've got me so excited that I keep slipping into my native tongue. I meant to say, Shema Nuvala Enna, a gathering to discuss matters. That's not a real phrase. You are putting words in my muzzle. The words that you yourself used, Brom. His blush is all the brighter as he shakes his head. Nase, don't you tease me like that now, Ral. I know what I meant. You hold up your paws and nod. You won't press him, but you smile all the same. You do know what he meant, and what he said. If you say so. I do say so, but now, let us use our muzzles for other things. You perk both ears this time, but he holds up a finger before you can say a word. Hush. No, hush. You laugh and he joins in. His awkwardness, once you have him flustered, is incredibly endearing. He sighs as his laughter trails off and shakes his head. But now we have what we need. We have crafted the meal, and now all that is left is to task the replicator, the recombiner, and the cooker to execute our design. I mean, to be fair, you did most of the crafting. I just offer some direction. The bear's smile slips slightly as he glances at the cooker. Yes, but that was a moderate concern of mine as well. I hope you are not upset or offended. I wanted for your first creation to be as successful as possible, and my knowledge is honed over decades of study on the subject. I thought that if I gave you broad control... You don't have to worry, Brom. He blinks as he looks back up at you again. You know what you're doing, and if you gave me control, I'd just make a mess, trust me. I mean, look at what we're making. I wouldn't have even known a fraction of the options that we could have used. You took a simple feeling and turned it... You glance down at the cooker and smile. You're turning a feeling into a meal. That's amazing. His own smile returns as he favors you with a nod. I am glad that you think so, truly. He nods again as he waves towards the cooker console. You see that he has instructed it to create exactly what you've helped guide him to make. It's ready. Please, this is your creation, for you. It would please me for you to do the honors. It's a silly bit of theatrical flair for something as simple as making breakfast, but you chuckle and reach across him to the console. With a delicate tap, the cooker hums to life. So too do the replicator and the recombiner. All three units light up as they begin to convert raw materials and energy into requisite components of the meal. You know that if it was just a matter of the replicator producing raw drink or foodstuffs, the process would be almost instantaneous. With a cooker, however... Is it going to be long? But you cannot rush these things. The anticipation is a sweeter garnish than any that you will ever find. I'm almost certain that that's not true. Hush now, and be patient. You chuckle as you look up at the bear again. It seems that you have a few moments before the meal will finish. So... Tromwas, what happened after he showed you how to use a cooker? There is no response. You turn to look up at Bromm'ka, but his eyes are locked on the cooker. His shoulders have dropped, his features softer. I expressed my gratitude. He continued to instruct me as long as I was aboard. And then at the end of our journey together, I was on Avery's, and he launched back to the stars again. I have not seen or heard from him since. That's the nature of things, you understand, but there was a powerful sadness in the bear's tone that goes beyond what you would have expected. It's possibly a cultural thing, but perhaps there is more to it than that. Did you try to reach out? I did, many times while in Avery's. There was no response. At first I thought that something terrible had happened, or that he was merely busy, as Wes so often are. But... He sighs and shakes his head. It's clear that the smile that spreads on his muzzle is forced. But this is a time for happy thoughts and feelings, Nase. Let us not dwell on the past when we have delights to enjoy. No sooner are the words out of his muzzle than you hear the hiss of the commissary door opening. You turn to see Zuberi and Kalia, no doubt returning from the bridge. The vixen smirks as she spots the two of you before Zuberi does. Guess you found him after all? Just like you said. Bromm'ka gasps. Talking about me behind my back? How rude, Rael. Kalia, you ought to know better. The vixen just chuckles to herself as Zuberi sniffs at the air. Teaching Rael to cook? Oh, even better then. Behind the pair, you catch a sight of Sam sneaking into the commissary just before the door can close on them. They glare at it. Oba must be messing with them. Yeah, he's teaching me how to feed my fire. Your flame. Yeah, that. The bear chuckles again as Zuberi smiles. Well, it smells good, whatever it is. Like you, it's about the right time for Zuberi to be having breakfast anyway. The wolf's probably hungry. You know, it's a breakfast dish. If you like some... I couldn't possibly, but that... Nonsense. This whole exercise has been about sharing the warmth of a meal. It would please us both for you to partake. Yeah, what he said. Zuberi holds up his paws and chuckles. All right. I know better than to argue with Bromm. I, however, will pass. Breakfast for me was a while ago, and I need something more than a morning snack, thanks. Yeah, smells good, but I'm probably just gonna replicate some dinner. You know how picky I am. Ethis vu marteka, bakshu. You are missing out, my friend. Kalia's eyes widen at even Zuberi, and Sam look taken aback. You got him speaking Gavish? Bromm'ka's averting his face to hide his blush. Oh, how cute. I speak my native tongue all the time. Well, that's a lie. You see what I must deal with, right? Awful. They're all awful. He laughs, as do Sam and Zuberi. Even Celia's smiling to herself. It really does seem like the ship is its own little family here. Before you can say anything more, however, you hear the cooker chime for attention. Bromm'ka's head snaps immediately to the side, and his eyes light up as he grins. Ah, it's done. Come, Rael, come. He all but tugs you back over to the front of the cooker unit. You look up from the console to the doors that keep the internal processes from you. Though the transparent material, you see your meal. And despite it all, you feel a small swell of pride. You created this dish. You and Bromm'ka together made something new. Well, at least insofar as you told the computer what to do and it did it. It's not the same. So, what have we created today, Bromm? The bear grins all the wider as he opens the relevant doors and pulls free your meal. Behold, Gorobashi sausage served with spice, tolnarak mash, and cinnamon calf. Despite themselves, you hear Sam coo with interest. Even Kalia's ears perk up. Zuberi's nostrils flare as he steps closer. Just a little quicker than is necessary. Someone's eager. And with the spicy scent in the steaming meal filling the commissary and finding its way over to your nose as well, you can't blame him. You watch him with bated breath as Bromm'ka, like a practice servant, plates up the sausage and tolnarak mash. Cutlery is set down, though he smacks Zubari's paw with a fork as the wolf reaches out. There. You will wait? You're cruel. And you are impatient. Wait until it is served. Any inclination that you might have to sneak a quick pawful is squashed. Bromm'ka might be big, but he's quick with the fork. It's a little torturous as he fills the plates, while you, Zubari, and even Celia and Sam watch on. But finally, as he sets the mugs of spiced calf down on the countertop, he spreads his arms wide. Wajeth. You don't know what the bear's words mean, but Zubari clearly does. He reaches out, albeit more tentatively than he did before, to take one of the plates and mugs offered. After a moment, you do the same, though Bromm'ka's paw closes gently around yours before you can grasp the plate. No, not yet. An unflatteringly but quiet whine escapes your muzzle. It smells so good. But trust me, wait, watch. He nods towards Zubari as the wolf carries his plate over to the table. He doesn't even sit down right away, opting instead to remain standing as he cuts a slice off of the sausage and bringing it to his muzzle. You don't know at first what it is that you're waiting for, but as the captain takes his first bite, you see him sag with delight. A smile spreads across his muzzle as his ear tips forward. His tail begins to wag and yours quickly follows. He loves it. Oh, that's good. That, Rael, is what we are waiting for. You nod as Zubari hurriedly sits down and eagerly begins to eat. Bromm'ka's paw releases yours as he steps back and waves towards your plate. Wajith, Na liot aka. Go on. You smile and nod your thanks to him as you pick up your own plate and head over to the table. Bromm'ka follows suit, and it takes everything in you to not just dig in as soon as you can. Instead, you just sit down and watch Zubari's abject delight with his meal. You feel a very different satisfaction warm your heart. You did that. You and Bromm'ka brought that smile, that joy. You suppose that this is what he meant about feeding the flame. Both you and Bromm'ka just take your seats as you close your eyes for a moment and simply luxuriate in the smell. A meal, not just food. Not just sustenance, but a meal. It conjures to mind your first experience beyond a simple replicator's offering, with a recombiner installed on one of your parents' long-haul shuttles. You were so young, you hated it. You just wanted the simple, plain replicator foodstuffs. You liked it better, you'd say. Your younger self would balk at what's before you now, but that's fine. He didn't know any better. As you settle down and poke at your breakfast, you turn to Zubari. The wolf is absolutely tearing into his meal with abandon now. A glance over at Bromm'ka show that the bear is all but beaming in response. He's not even touched his own food. He's simply observing for the moment, and he nods as he turns to you. Please, Ryle, I'd like to know what you think too. I really don't think that you're going to get a negative reaction out of me. There is always a chance. Please, try some. Zubari's muzzle parts as he swallows his last mouthful. Seriously, try it. You both did a great job. Honestly, Bromm did most of the... Enough with that. It was a group effort, Ryle. Please, try. Well, it's not as though you weren't eager to try that sausage. Following Zubari's lead, you carve off a chunk of the meat and bring it to your muzzle. An appraising sniff offers you a warm, meaty scent that sets your muzzle watering. You can't wait a moment longer. Into your muzzle it goes. Just as Bromm'ka had promised, a subtle, spicy note threads through the thick, hot meat. It fills your mouth from the moment that it touches your tongue. You might have groaned. You're not sure. This is good. Oh, stars. Right? You look at Bromm'ka to thank him, but the bear is simply smiling as he watches you. You look happy. He's not wrong. You're almost smiling hard enough to hurt. It's been a long time since you've smiled like this. Not since when the AG took you in. Not since you heard the news about the Dawn. The last real one was probably actually on Avery's, back when you were exploring new things, meeting new people, discovering new topics to learn, when you weren't a star's damn fuck-up. Even that bitterness can't help but be swallowed up in your smile. This isn't that, but it's new. It's good. You think that you needed this. He's got some good reason to, and I'm smiling too. And that is a flame well fed. He nods his satisfaction before he delicately cuts up his own meat and begins eating. You feel like you should say something, but that would just take up precious eating time. Your muzzle can only handle one or of the two, and you decide that the meal is more important now. It's almost strange in a way. Every meal that you've ever had with someone else, or several someones, has been a social affair. Talking, laughing, joking, working, sometimes. But now here, the three of you sit in silence. Zubari says nothing. Bromm'ka says nothing. You don't even feel a desire to speak. There is no need for words, just the enjoyment of the meal. And yet, without a word uttered between the three of you, it still feels nice. Like you really are sharing something with them, a common, pleasing experience. Bromm'ka clearly has a point. You find the smile stuck to your face when you're not busy chewing. It's not hurt by the idle jealousy that you spot on Kalia and Sam's faces. Hey, they were offered. Still, as more than half the Gorbanish vanishes into your muzzle, that smile on your face turns into a grin. There's still more to come. You've not touched the Tolnarok mash at all, nor the calf, so focused that you were on the sausage. The moment you scoop up some of the mash though, you find yourself wishing that you tried it earlier. It fills your muzzle with a sharper spice than that of the Gorbash. You work the mash all around the insides of your muzzle as your eyes roll back. Your tail thumps in the back of your chair. Oh, that's so good. Zubari chuckles. A glance over shows that the wolf makes a lot of his Tolnarok in alongside his sausage, and you're now wishing that you thought to do the same. Try the calf too, right after. Great kick to it. Oh, that's a good idea. Immediately you scoop up some of the mash with your fork, while your other paw grips the hot mug of calf. Taking a breath, and definitely not just to enjoy the scent again, you fill your muzzle. The mash, as before, is a spicy delight. thick and fluffy in equal measures beneath the spice. You swirl it about your muzzle before swallowing it and taking a sip of the calf. The heat of the drink and the spice of it intensifies the aftertaste of the tolnarak. Your eyes widen. Zuberi grins. As the flavors mingle on your tongue, you can see Bromm'ka's own smile of satisfaction. The bear is more than just pleased, and so he should be. As you swallow the mouthful of calf, you sigh. You're quite a bit beyond merely being pleased yourself. That's... wow. Told you. Thanks for that, and thank you, Bromm, again. The bear just weaves a paw as he swipes a piece of the gorbash through his tolnarak. Thank yourself as much as me, Ryle. It was through your direction that it was created. No, you don't get to be that modest. I gave broad strokes. You're the one that really made this meal. Collaborative, yes, but this is because you know what you were doing. He's right, Bromm. I've read his file. Ryle's no chef. You roll your eyes even as you smile. Thanks, I think. There was a rat that I knew once, on Avery's. He reminded me of the words of this great idol and hero, that anyone can be a chef. Or was it that anyone can cook? I don't remember. It was a long time ago, after all, but the point remains the same. I think your rat friend was a bit optimistic either way. Bromm'ka laughs and shrugs. Perhaps so, but you wouldn't be begrudging me a little optimism now, would you? Meal like this? I'd be pretty damn hard to. Zuberi nods in agreement. He's gone back to stuffing his muzzle, and you can't begrudge him that either. And this is why I love to cook, to create, to give my paws something to do, then stitch up the flesh and operate medical scanners. Well, I don't know what more precise I can give you, Bromm. I don't even have the words. This is amazing. It doesn't even feel like it covers it. 'Cause it doesn't. The wolf's muzzle is half full as he speaks, tail wagging and grinning. Bromm'ka too seems pleased by the praise. Then we together have done something wonderful here, Rael, and I am glad that I have shared this with you. Me too. And I'm just glad that you both shared the result with me. I was just gonna replicate some strips of synth meat and some calf. Bromm'ka groans. So it's your low standards that dictate what slop Oba is serving our new crew. It's not low standards, it's preference. Bah, he has no ambition, Rael. No desire to see what more can be done. I don't need more to be done if I got you around. You chuckle along with Zuberi as the bear scowls. If I am to be your personal chef as well as your doctor, perhaps I should be increasing my fee. Oh, good point. Better pass. I'm not made of credits. Now all three of you are laughing. It's not a feeling that you expected to enjoy so soon after, well, everything that's happened in your recent past. In the wake of the meal, you'll find yourself relaxing back in your chair. Your stomach is pleasantly full, your taste buds are delightfully teased, and the company has been, well, a lot. Zuberi leaves as soon as he finishes eating. He says that he has to relax a bit and then hits the gym to work off some of what he's eaten. You don't blame him, really. That leaves you and Bromm'ka to just sit and quietly talk. The bear continues to ply you with drink and treats in the wake of the meal. It's almost enough to make you feel bloated. Thankfully, either Bromm'ka's chef or doctor instincts keep him from overfeeding you. That doesn't mean that you don't have to wave him off after a while. He's all too happy to spend more of the shift just sitting with you afterward. The next few hours are filled with quiet, warm, post-meal conversation that's far more comfortable than the chair that you both sit on. It's not something that you'd expect to find after how your life has been recently, but listening to Bromm'ka talking is oddly soothing. The bear continues to wax poetically about food, talking about this dish or that world's cuisines, or the prerevocator ways of some societies or other. His knowledge is terrifyingly comprehensive. As you listen, you find yourself left in a sort of post-meal haze. You're relaxed, comfy, even the loud and excited Bromm'ka can't override that feeling. And none of it dims the warmth in your chest. Your flame, it seems, is well and truly fed, just as he promised. When at last he's called to the infirmary, you're left alone. That feeling doesn't fade. You could have taken the chance to speak to anyone, but it feels like you went to the right person after all. By the time that you make it back to your quarters, it's much later in the shift. You still have a little bit more time before you need to worry about what's next to come, but not all that much. As the door closes behind you, you stretch and smile. It's been a good time. Getting to know at least one of the crew has done you some good. As you're looking around your quarters, you're already thinking about tomorrow in what you might get up to on your next third shift. Bromm'ka is exactly as social as you'd expect. You're confident that he missed his calling as a chef, but spending too much time with him could turn you as round as he is. And that doesn't even take into consideration what might happen if you try to get to know your other crewmates. You're spoiled for choice. It's a wonderful problem to have, you realize, but it's also a problem for tomorrow rail. You look around yourself again, and you remember that your belongings had been displaced aboard from Yakshi. You've just not had a chance to actually go through them and unpack. Well, you do have a little time now, no time like the present. Your belongings are right where Oba said that they'd be, in the storage drawer that she'd indicated when you first arrived. There's not much there. A couple of changes of clothing stand out, as well as a pot full of personal effects. You sift through it all quickly, just to make sure that it has all arrived. You spot the compression coil instantly. It was the first component of your dad's skip racer that you learned to pull out. He wasn't happy, but he was a lot more pleased when you learned to put it back. When he retired the system, he let you keep the coil as a souvenir. You sigh as you tap the data shard hiding beneath the shirt. Your acceptance missive from the IGA is on there, along with the provisionary materials to get you started. You'd been so proud to receive it, now you keep it as a reminder of your need to focus. That knowledge that without your focus is a waste. A powerful reminder indeed. It's nice that these little memories of times gone by have survived. They cause you to smile as you set them back in the storage drawer. Everything seems to be here, at the very least. You can sort it out later, but it's good to know what little you have is all accounted for. You close the drawer back up and nod to yourself. You don't even really know what time it is. Hey, Oba?
Yes, Stray?
How long is it until the first shift?
Oh, worried that you've been enjoying yourself overmuch? Don't worry a bit, Stray. You're not out of time, and I've taken the liberty of updating your reader with markers to denote ship time for you. But I'll spare you the energy it would take to actually look at the device. You lazy boy, you. First shift will begin in about an hour.
That's really good to know. It means that you have a little time to relax and wind down here before you have to face your actual workload again. It's also good to know that you have a good way to track your ship's day cycle. You're not happy about the simulant accessing your reader without permission, but this at least is helpful. Thanks, Oba.
Of course. Whatever would you do without me?
Probably be late for my shift, and have far less company, and have a harder time adjusting to the ship, and...
Yes, I know all of that. You don't need to butter me up, Stray. I'm already fond of you.
You smile as you settle back to lay on your sleep pad for a moment. It contorts to cradle you once again, and you sigh. It's been one hell of a first day aboard the ship. It feels like it's stretched on, however, honestly. And yet, that's just one of a tour that's meant to last. Well, you don't even know how long. More than a week, you're sure. And best not to dwell on it too much for now. You reason. Whatever tomorrow brings, it'll arrive in its own time. And unfortunately, with you working first shift, it's going to arrive all too quickly. Time, you decide as you close your eyes, to take this moment and enjoy. The hum of the ship reverberates throughout the walls as you relax back onto your sleep pad. If the next day runs as smoothly as this one, you think that you could be very comfortable here indeed. To be continued. Oh, mother of God, it's over. So, I'm re-recording this ending. Normally, I don't re-record the ending after the update because, I don't want to. But I'm re-recording it because, I read the prologue and then the day one just straight. And, when I was recording the ending, the original ending, or outro or whatever, I was cranky. Cranky and in pain. Back pain. But, yeah, I decided to re-record this because I was just really, wanting to, blow through this. And, I was apparently a little overcritical. Which, I mean, given that this is the first build that is publicly released, I mean, there are bound to be some things that could be eventually changed or tweaked in, further updates and, etc. But yeah, like I felt I was a little bit too critical of the story and the writing. So this is me, a few days later, you know, having just finished editing the videos. It's like, okay, I got to re-experience the story all over again. But yeah. So speaking about what you guys just saw, we got to spend the time with Bromm'ka because again, he and the captain are probably the only ones that really stand out the most to me as more agreeable, more aesthetically pleasing. um, well, maybe not aesthetically pleasing, just like more interesting to me specifically. Um, Bromm'ka, there seems to be something going on there, especially, and I'm probably just reading too much into this, but whenever the topic of stimulants, whenever the topic of drugs, and perhaps abuse of those things pops up, he seems to maybe have not specifically like a twitch, but sort of like a like uh, whether or not he experienced that himself or he saw it within somebody else that he was taking care of or lived with or related to or something. I don't know. But there does seem to be something going on with that. It is nice to see how food is sort of his I don't want to call it love language because that's not what it is. Well, I mean it might be, but like it's sort of his I don't want to also say his thing because like yeah, it's his thing, but like it's his form of expression, I guess. Or it became his form of expression after this Wes person sort of imparted it on him. And speaking from somebody that likes cooking and likes to cook for people, I can get it. I understand it. Um so yeah, like at the very least, that is something that I personally understood and like kind of got when, he was helping Rail prepare the food, or more or less sort of guiding Rail to prepare the food. The only difference is that I'm the type of people that do not like other people in the kitchen unless I specifically invite you in. I don't want you anywhere near me in the kitchen. So yeah, like if I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna be the one that cooks. I'm gonna be the one that does everything, even if it takes me longer than it should, which it usually does. But that's because I'm very like need to dice these things correctly. I need to do this in a sequence. But yeah. So, anyways, so out of all the characters right now, Bromm'ka is the one that speaks to me the most, I guess. Um, Still think Rail's a little bit of a goober. Like the more that I look at him, the more that I want to like chuck him. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As mentioned before, that also kind of applies to Cryptid of Roads Yet Traveled, but that's more of a because I like to bully him type of thing. But he bites back too, so like what else? Am I interested in the story so far? Do I think that it's like cool or like whatever? Can't say yet. I mean, it's set in space. I like space. Am I whelmed by any of the characters? I guess right now Bromm'ka stands out the most out of everyone else, but that's because I spent the most time with him. But like, really, like, just it's the first build, so I don't know if I can give you anything like, oh my god, I recommend this visual novel. Everyone should read it. Like, I will reserve my judgment on that. Um, like I had previously said, I was a little bit harsh in my original outro talkie about the writing, and I think that was just because I was by the time that I got to the Bromm'ka section, I was already like, oh my god, I just want to get through this. And I do think that it was because sometimes when I was reading it, there was like certain little things here and there where it's like, this could have probably been phrased differently. This could have probably been written a little bit shorter. He's talking too much. They're talking too much. Um, like, I don't know. It still kind of felt that way, at least in some points, where maybe somebody could go in with a fine tooth comb and like just see where some certain scenes could be rewritten a little bit differently or better, I think. Yeah. And it's something that actually was kind of pointed out to me by somebody else that was reading this visual novel too. Where they kind of pointed out something similar to what I said, where it's like the writing's a little rough at times. It might just be because, again, I read so much that when I get to like a different writing style or something that just doesn't match what the other people are writing, like, is like, oh, this feels weird. So it just might be that, but like, yeah. I know that by the time that I am gonna upload this, I think that a new version of what I'm reading is actually already up. So maybe some things were changed. And I think that on Patreon, they already have it up to day 3. So this is barely day 1. So, eventually, I think next month, right now being May, is when day 2 is released, I think. I don't know. They have already like a roadmap on itch.io. So yeah, if you want to look at that, then, go looking at that, whatever. Anyways, but yeah, so, well, what are your thoughts so far? Does the story interest you? Do you have any comments about the story? Are you whelmed, under, or over? Write it down in the comments, and thank you all for watching/listening. If you would like to play Void Dreaming yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it yourself. And where the aforementioned roadmap type thing is. I think it's one of the little devlogs. Also, they have more backstory on certain characters. That's something that I didn't read because I wanted it to go into it blind and experience the characters naturally, not going into it. So I'm like, oh, I like this character already. Like, no, I want to like them as I read the story. Anyways, but yeah, I need to sneeze. Oh my god. If by the time that I upload this, the Patreon is already up, then I will be linking that down too. Become a channel member if you want to support the channel. You get to view these videos ahead of time. Usually, I usually try for at least 2 weeks in advance. Ko-fi, if you want to support me through there. Throne, book, buy me, if you like. Not necessary. Other stuff there. Amazon links. You could actually technically buy whatever you want to. If you find candy that you would like to send it to me. I keep saying that because that's the only thing that like pops to my mind right now. I actually do not like candy that much. Especially chocolate. My god, I don't know why I don't like chocolate. Anyways, but yeah, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.